Picture this. You're scrolling through Instagram at 2 a.m., looking at some influencer's candid beach shot, when suddenly you realize half these tropical paradises are either geopolitical powder kegs or economic mysteries that make your head spin faster than a hurricane in the Caribbean. Welcome back to the channel, where we make sun, sand, and international relations like a diplomatic cocktail you never knew you needed. I'm about to drop the 25 most insane tropical vacation spots that'll blow your mind in 2025. And trust me, some of these destinations have plot twists that would make a Netflix thriller jealous. From islands that are literally disappearing due to climate change to beach resorts sitting on top of the world's most complex territorial disputes, we're diving deep into paradise with a side of political drama. So grab your sunscreen and your political science textbook. Things are about to get spicy. Destination number 25, Palawan, Philippines. Starting strong at number 25, the Philippines' crown jewel, Palawan. This place is so gorgeous it makes other tropical destinations file restraining orders out of pure jealousy. But here's the kicker. You're literally vacationing in the middle of one of Asia's biggest territorial chess games. While you're sipping coconut water, China's building artificial islands faster than you can say South China Sea dispute. It's like having the world's most beautiful neighborhood with the world's most dramatic HOA meeting happening right next door. The irony? Some of the most pristine coral reefs on Earth exist in waters that multiple countries are arguing over like kids fighting over the last piece of pizza. But wait, because if you think one territorial dispute is wild, our next destination is basically vacation paradise built on an active diplomatic volcano. Destination number 24, Cyprus, Turkish Greek sides. Cyprus, the island so nice, it got divided twice. Here's a destination where your choice of beach literally depends on which side of a decades-old political stalemate you land on. North Cyprus, recognized by exactly one country. Turkey, South Cyprus, EU member with more diplomatic recognition than most reality TV stars have Instagram followers. The fascinating part, both sides offer identical Mediterranean bliss, crystal clear waters, ancient ruins, and food that'll make you question every meal you've ever had. It's like having two competing theme parks with the exact same rides, except one accepts euros and the other uses a currency that most of the world pretends doesn't exist. Talk about vacation planning on expert mode. Speaking of expert mode, wait until you hear about our next destination where paradise comes with a side of please don't mention certain historical events. Destination number 23, Turkey's Mediterranean coast. Turkey's Mediterranean coastline, where east literally meets west and your Instagram captions can sound like UN diplomatic statements. This stretch of coast is so culturally rich, it makes other destinations look like they're on a history diet. But here's where it gets interesting. You're vacationing in a country that's basically Europe's complicated relationship with itself. Turkey's been almost in the EU longer than most people have been on dating apps. And the political dynamics shift faster than Mediterranean weather patterns. One day you're exploring ancient Lyceum ruins, the next you're witnessing a country that bridges continents both literally and figuratively. The beaches? Absolutely stunning. The geopolitics? More layered than the best baklava you'll ever taste. But if you think geographical complexity is wild, our next destination literally changes citizenship depending on which passport you flash. Destination number 22, St. Martin, Saint Martin. Welcome to the only island where you can have breakfast in France and lunch in the Netherlands without a flight. St. Martin, Saint Martin. This Caribbean gem is so politically unique, it makes dual citizenship look simple. Picture this. 37 square miles, 2 countries, 2 currencies, 2 legal systems, and absolutely zero border control. You can literally walk from baguettes to stroopwafels in about 20 minutes. It's like the European Union's tropical experiment went rogue and decided to create the world's most laid-back international border. The best part? Both sides are convinced they have the better beaches, restaurants, and nightlife. It's like a friendly international competition where everyone wins, especially tourists who get to experience two cultures for the price of one plane ticket. And if you're fascinated by places where international law gets creative, buckle up for our next destination where independence comes with more asterisks than a pharmaceutical commercial. Destination number 21, Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico, the Caribbean's most beautiful political paradox. Here's a tropical paradise where residents are U.S. citizens who can't vote for president, use U.S. currency but have their own Olympic team, and speak Spanish as the main language while technically being part of an English-speaking country. This island has been stuck in political limbo longer than most people have been stuck in traffic, yet somehow manages to serve up beaches that would make Hawaii jealous and a culture so vibrant it puts most mainland U.S. cities to shame. You're literally vacationing in a place that makes constitutional lawyers develop nervous twitches and political scientists write very long, very confused papers. The rum is incredible, the music is infectious, and the political status is, well, it's complicated. Really, really complicated. Ready for more political complexity? Because our next destination proves that sometimes paradise comes with a government that changes faster than tropical weather patterns. Destination number 20, Fiji. Fiji, where democracy is younger than most of your favorite childhood movies. This Pacific paradise has had more government changes than a reality TV show has dramatic exits. We're talking about a country that's experienced 4 military coups since 1987, yet somehow still manages to perfect the art of Bula hospitality. Here's the wild part. While most countries argue about tax policy, Fiji literally had to figure out how to balance traditional chiefs with modern democracy, all while being one of the first nations that might actually disappear due to rising sea levels. Talk about pressure. You're vacationing in a place where ancient Polynesian culture meets cutting-edge climate adaptation strategies. The coral reefs are pristine, the people are genuinely the friendliest on Earth, and the political science textbooks about this place read like adventure novels. But wait, because if you think balancing tradition with modernity is complex, wait until you meet our next destination where independence is more of a suggestion than a fact. Destination 19, Aruba. The Caribbean island that's technically part of the Netherlands but feels more independent than most teenagers. This tiny piece of paradise has achieved something most places can only dream of: total political stability while maintaining the perfect balance of autonomy and security. Picture this. You're on an island where they use their own currency, make their own laws, and handle their own affairs. But if anything goes sideways, they've got the Netherlands on speed dial like the world's most reliable backup plan. It's like having the ultimate safety net while living your best life. The beaches are so consistent, they make Swiss watches look unreliable. The weather is so perfect, it's basically meteorological cheating. And the political arrangement is so smooth, it makes other Caribbean nations incredibly jealous. Speaking of jealousy, our next destination has other countries lining up like it's the hottest nightclub in international relations. Destination How 18, Singapore. Singapore, the tiny island nation that turned location into a geopolitical masterpiece. This place is so strategically positioned, it basically collects money every time a ship passes by, like some kind of maritime toll booth with incredible food courts. Here's what blows my mind. Singapore has zero natural resources, yet it's richer than countries sitting on literal gold mines. They took a small island in Southeast Asia and turned it into the Switzerland of the tropics, except with better street food and way more humidity. You're vacationing in a place that proves geography is destiny, but smart policy is everything. The city-state game is so strong here, other countries send delegations just to figure out how they do it. It's like the overachiever kid in international relations class that makes everyone else look like they're not even trying. But if you think small nations punching above their weight is impressive, our next destination literally owns its own continent. Destination House 17, Australia's Whitsunday Islands. The Whitsundays, where Australia decided to show off and create some of the most ridiculously perfect islands on the planet. This is Mother Nature flexing so hard that other tropical destinations filed formal complaints with the tourism board. But here's the geopolitical twist. You're vacationing in a place that's simultaneously one of the world's most isolated developed nations and a major Pacific power player. Australia manages to be both that laid-back country with the crazy wildlife and regional superpower with serious diplomatic influence. It's like Clark Kent, but for nation-states. The Great Barrier Reef situation alone is more complex than most international treaties. You've got climate science, economic interests, indigenous rights, and tourism all colliding in waters so beautiful they make screensavers look like amateur hour. And speaking of beautiful complexity, our next destination proves that sometimes the best vacations come with the most complicated backstories. Destination House 16, New Caledonia. New Caledonia, France's Pacific territory that's been debating independence longer than most people have been deciding what to watch on Netflix. This slice of paradise is caught between being a tropical paradise and a political science case study. Here's the situation. You've got indigenous Kanak culture, French colonial influence, and modern Pacific politics all mixing together like the world's most complicated cultural smoothie. They've held multiple independence referendums with results closer than most presidential elections, all while maintaining some of the most pristine lagoons and coral reefs on Earth. The irony? While they're figuring out their political future, tourists are absolutely certain about their vacation present. This place is spectacular. It's like watching a very slow, very polite, very tropical diplomatic process unfold in real time. Ready for a destination where the politics are even more complex? Because our next spot makes international law professors weep tears of confusion. Destination House 15, Bermuda. Bermuda, the triangle where planes mysteriously disappear, but tourists mysteriously reappear with maxed-out credit cards. This British territory has mastered the art of being so offshore that it's literally become synonymous with offshore banking. Here's the kicker. While conspiracy theorists are busy explaining missing aircraft, economists are trying to figure out how a tiny island with no natural resources became one of the world's biggest financial centers. You're vacationing in a place where the Bermuda Triangle is less mysterious than the tax code. The pink sand beaches are real, the crystal caves are spectacular, and the corporate tax strategies are so complex they require their own GPS to navigate. It's like paradise with a PhD in international finance. But if you think financial wizardry is impressive, our next destination literally rewrote the rule book on how small islands can become global powerhouses. Destination House 14, Barbados. Barbados, the Caribbean island that went from sugar plantation to diplomatic sensation faster than you can say Rihanna for president. This place just ditched Queen Elizabeth as head of state and became a republic, proving that breaking up with the British monarchy can be done with style and zero drama. Here's what's brilliant. While other former colonies spent decades figuring out post-independence politics, Barbados quietly became the Switzerland of the Caribbean. They host more international organizations per square mile than most continents, all while perfecting the rum punch recipe that makes other islands weep with envy. You're literally sunbathing in a place that makes other small island states take notes on how to punch above your weight class diplomatically. Plus, they gave the world Rihanna, so their cultural diplomacy game is already legendary. Speaking of legendary, our next destination has been making headlines for reasons that would make international relations professors need therapy. Destination 13, Maldives. The Maldives, where sea level rise isn't just climate science, it's literally existential dread with a side of five-star resorts.
This nation of 1,200 coral islands is so low-lying that high tide is basically a national security briefing. Here's the mind-bending part. You're vacationing in a country that's simultaneously fighting for its physical survival while hosting some of the most expensive luxury resorts on the planet. They're literally building floating cities and underwater hotels while lobbying at UN climate conferences. It's like watching the most beautiful, most urgent science fiction movie ever made, except it's real and you can snorkel in it. The water bungalows are incredible, the coral reefs are pristine, and the government's climate adaptation plans read like something from a Marvel movie. Talk about vacation planning with consequences. But if you think environmental challenges are complex, our next destination proves that sometimes paradise comes with active volcanoes and territorial disputes.
Destination number 12, Azores, Portugal. The Azores, 9 volcanic islands in the middle of the Atlantic that Portugal somehow convinced the world belong to Europe. These islands are so strategically located that during World War II, whoever controlled them basically controlled Atlantic shipping lanes. Here's the geopolitical genius. Portugal took a bunch of volcanic rocks in the middle of nowhere and turned them into the ultimate European outpost in the Atlantic. The U.S. has military bases here, Europe considers it the westernmost frontier, and NATO treats it like the ultimate strategic coffee break location. You're vacationing in a place where tectonic plates meet, hot springs bubble up naturally, and international military strategists draw very important lines on very big maps. It's like geology and geopolitics had a baby, and that baby grew up to serve amazing seafood. Ready for a destination where the international politics are even hotter than the volcanic activity? Because our next spot is literally built on disputed territory. Destination number 11, Taiwan's Penghu Islands. Taiwan's Penghu Islands, where your beach vacation comes with a side of, please don't mention this to Beijing. These islands are so politically sensitive that travel bloggers need diplomatic immunity just to write Instagram captions. Here's the situation. You're relaxing on pristine beaches in the Taiwan Strait, literally between mainland China and Taiwan, in waters that are basically the geopolitical equivalent of a nuclear reactor. The fishing is incredible, the traditional architecture is stunning, and the international incident potential is off the charts. The local festivals feature ancient traditions, the seafood is so fresh it's practically still swimming, and the political status is so complicated that GPS systems develop anxiety disorders. It's like vacation paradise with a graduate-level course in East Asian international relations included free. But if you think East Asian territorial disputes are spicy, wait until you see our next destination where Caribbean politics meets international espionage. Destination number 10, Seychelles. Seychelles, the Indian Ocean archipelago that's basically what happens when pirates retire and become luxury resort consultants. These 115 granite islands used to be the ultimate hideout for buccaneers, and now they're the ultimate hideout for billionaires trying to avoid paparazzi. Plot twist, this tiny nation controls one of the largest maritime territories on Earth, over 1.3 million square kilometers of ocean. They're literally governing more water than most countries have land, all while dealing with Somali piracy routes and Chinese naval expansion. Your poolside cocktail is being served in waters where modern-day pirates still operate and superpowers play maritime chess. The beaches look like desktop wallpapers come to life, the giant tortoises are older than most democracies, and the geopolitics involve actual treasure maps. Except now the treasure is tuna fishing rights and anti-piracy naval bases. From pirates to paradise police, our next destination turned law enforcement into an art form while perfecting the world's most exclusive tax code. Destination 9, Cayman Islands. The Cayman Islands, where money goes to vacation and never wants to leave.
This British territory has more registered companies than people, which is either the ultimate business success story or proof that corporations have discovered the secret to eternal beach life. Check this absurdity. A hurricane-prone set of tiny Caribbean islands somehow convinced the entire global financial system that they're the safest place to park money. Grand Cayman has zero income tax, zero capital gains tax, and apparently zero concerns about explaining where all this wealth actually comes from. It's financial magic with a side of world-class diving. The Stingray City experience is surreal, the 7-Mile beach is pristine, and the banking sector is so advanced it makes Silicon Valley look like it's running on dial-up internet. Swimming with stingrays while your money swims in offshore accounts, peak 21st century vacation vibes. But if financial sorcery impresses you, our next destination mastered the art of being everyone's favorite neutral ground. Destination 8, Mauritius. Mauritius, the Indian Ocean overachiever that somehow became Africa's richest country per capita while being a tiny island most people can't find on a map. This place went from uninhabited rock to economic miracle faster than most countries can agree on a national anthem. The secret sauce? They turned geographic isolation into strategic advantage, becoming the Switzerland of Africa while maintaining beaches that make the actual Swiss Alps jealous. They speak French, English, Hindi, and Creole fluently, use multiple currencies effortlessly, and somehow made multiculturalism look as easy as mixing the perfect Mai Tai. Your underwater waterfall illusion photos are being taken in a country that figured out how to be African, European, Asian, and completely unique all at once. The dodo bird went extinct here, but apparently economic diversification came back to life with a vengeance. Evolution and economics aside, our next destination proves that sometimes the smallest territories create the biggest international headaches. Destination 7, British Virgin Islands. The British Virgin Islands, where offshore isn't just a sailing term, it's a lifestyle philosophy. These 60 islands perfected the art of being simultaneously British and completely Caribbean, which is like being simultaneously completely dry and completely underwater. The magic formula? Pristine sailing conditions plus financial regulations so relaxed they're practically horizontal. You're island hopping through waters where mega yachts and mega corporations both come to play hide and seek with international tax authorities. The sailing is world-class, the beaches are postcard perfect, and the corporate structures are so complex they require their own maritime navigation systems. Virgin Gorda's boulders are older than most civilizations, the sailing culture is more sophisticated than most wine collections, and the economic impact per square mile makes Manhattan real estate look affordable. From sailing to scandal, our next destination proves that political drama and tropical beauty make surprisingly compatible roommates. Destination 6, French Polynesia. French Polynesia, where nuclear testing sites became luxury resort destinations because apparently France's idea of environmental cleanup involves 5-star overwater bungalows. These 118 islands span an area larger than Europe, yet the entire population could fit in a medium-sized American city. The transformation story is wild, from atomic bomb testing ground to honeymoon capital of the Pacific in just a few decades. They literally turned mushroom clouds to honeymoon clouds, proving that excellent PR can rehabilitate almost anything. The Tahitian pearl industry alone generates more goodwill than most countries' entire diplomatic corps. Bora Bora's lagoon is so blue it makes sapphires file insurance claims. The overwater bungalows redefined luxury architecture, and the international movement operates with the most polite political protests in human history. Revolutionary activities have never looked so relaxing. Speaking of revolutions, our next destination decided independence was optional, but luxury was mandatory.
Destination number 5, U.S. Virgin Islands. The U.S. Virgin Islands, America's Caribbean experiment in What If We Bought Paradise and Forgot to Write an Instruction Manual. These islands are so American that you don't need a passport to visit, yet so Caribbean that you'll question everything you thought you knew about American culture. The genius move? Denmark sold these islands to the U.S. in 1917 for what amounts to pocket change by today's standards, making it possibly history's greatest real estate flip. Now they're duty-free shopping capitals with American infrastructure and Caribbean vibes. It's like America's tropical personality disorder, but in the best possible way. Magens Bay consistently ranks as one of the world's best beaches. The rum culture puts most mainland states to shame, and the political status creates tax benefits so good they make accountants weep tears of joy. It's American efficiency meets Caribbean relaxation with a splash of Danish architectural DNA. But if you think American territories are complex, our next destination redefined the entire concept of sovereignty. Destination number 4, Cook Islands. The Cook Islands, the only place where you can be simultaneously a New Zealand citizen, a Cook Islands national, and completely confused about what passport to use at airports. This Pacific nation achieved something political scientists thought was impossible: independence with training wheels that actually work. The arrangement is brilliant. They handle their own government, culture, and tourism, while New Zealand provides defense, emergency backup, and citizenship benefits. It's like being married but keeping separate bank accounts, except both parties are tropical paradises and nobody's fighting about who left dishes in the sink. Rarotonga's coral reefs are pristine, Aitutaki's lagoon defies the laws of blue physics, and the political arrangement is so unique that constitutional lawyers study it like ancient hieroglyphics. The locals practice traditional Polynesian culture while holding New Zealand passports, cultural authenticity with modern convenience. From political innovation to our next destination, which proved that sometimes the best tropical territories are the ones that never quite figured out who owns them. Destination number 3, American Samoa. American Samoa, the U.S. territory where American football players are born with supernatural powers and constitutional rights come with asterisks. This Pacific gem produces more NFL players per capita than anywhere else on Earth, which is either genetic destiny or proof that tropical training conditions create athletic superpowers. The constitutional curveball: people born here are U.S. nationals but not automatically U.S. citizens, creating a legal status so unique it makes immigration lawyers need stress therapy. They can serve in the U.S. military, move freely to the U.S. mainland, but need naturalization for full citizenship. It's like being in a constitutional relationship that's complicated on Facebook. The cultural preservation is remarkable. Traditional Fa'a Samoa lifestyle coexists with American amenities, and the rugby-football hybrid they play locally could probably solve international conflicts if we replace diplomacy with sports. The beaches are spectacular, the hospitality is legendary, and the political status is wonderfully weird. Ready for the top 2? Because our next destination literally rewrote maritime law while perfecting the art of tropical luxury. Destination number 2, French Southern and Antarctic Territories, Tropical Islands. The French Southern and Antarctic Territories' tropical components, where France decided that owning random islands across 3 oceans was totally normal colonial behavior. Scattered across the Indian Ocean, these islands are so remote that GPS systems occasionally give up and suggest carrier pigeons instead. The incredible part? These uninhabited tropical atolls give France exclusive economic zones covering millions of square kilometers of ocean, making their total maritime territory larger than most continents. They're literally uninhabited islands controlling vast underwater empires of fishing rights and mineral resources. It's colonial strategy meets environmental science meets extreme isolation vacation planning.
The coral atolls are pristine. The marine biodiversity is off the charts because humans haven't figured out how to mess it up yet. And the geopolitical importance makes military strategists dream about controlling random rocks in the middle of nowhere. And finally, the ultimate tropical destination that combines everything we've covered. Destination number 1, Hawaii. Hawaii, the tropical paradise that proves America's expansion strategy was go big or go volcano. The 50th state, sitting alone in the Pacific, 2,400 miles from the nearest continent, somehow becoming the ultimate fusion of Polynesian culture, American infrastructure, and geological chaos that creates the most beautiful islands on Earth. The masterpiece? Ancient Hawaiian navigation techniques that crossed thousands of miles of open ocean, meeting American military strategy that turned these islands into the Pacific's ultimate strategic hub. You're vacationing where Pearl Harbor changed world history, where surfing was invented, where volcanoes create new land in real time, and where East meets West meets indigenous meets immigrant in ways that work better than most international peace treaties. The beaches span every possible tropical fantasy. The volcanic landscapes look like alien planets. The cultural fusion creates cuisine and art scenes that influence the entire Pacific. And the geopolitical importance makes every other tropical destination jealous of both the beauty and the strategic significance. And there you have it, 25 tropical destinations where paradise meets politics, where vacation planning requires international relations degrees, and where the most beautiful places on Earth come with the most fascinating backstories. Which destination surprised you the most? Are you booking flights to a tax haven or a former nuclear testing site? Let me know in the comments below. Smash that like button if you learned something new about geopolitics and gorgeous beaches. And subscribe for more content where we make international relations as addictive as tropical cocktails. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and remember, the best vacations always come with the best stories.